Hey guys, Shawn Ziem, the Connection Machine, aka the Insurance Doctor, and the host for the Webtalk Legends Podcast, where we bring on guests that share their stories. And you, as the audience, we're going to take some information. Hopefully, you jot some things down, mental notes, what have you, and actually implement some of the ideas, strategies, and tips we talk about in our conversation today. A couple housekeeping rules. When you're popping in live, please drop a hashtag live. If you're on the replay, hashtag replay. And please, if you are one that likes to go above and beyond and you support us, please drop a comment where you're watching from, and throughout the conversation, your favorite emojis. That's a great thing to do. Thumbs up, thumbs down, fire, pound, what have you, so that we can keep the algorithm in our favor and help more people. Before I bring on my next guest, I want you to remind you, take a look at Got Backup. It's online backup and security, personal. 1 terabyte is what you can get it for personal, but I always recommend get a family plan for 6 terabytes for $9.97 a month. Again, you back up your pictures, your videos, your contracts, any documentation. It's a great opportunity. It throws a wrench into the cheapness. Look how cheap it is. $9.97. And if you look at Dropbox, iCloud, and Google Drive, you don't get this kind of value. And you also have a small business owner. You can actually earn money on this platform as well. So definitely take a look at it. I have descriptions of it in this video. Please reach out to me if you're interested in getting on board. Let me bring on my next guest. What's going on, Seraphim? How are you? Let me bring you in here and change that up. Perfect. There he is. How are you?
I am doing great. It's great to be with you, and I thank you for this opportunity.
No, thanks so much for joining me. I know we've been, connecting online. We've had calls before, and emails and texts, and I found this is a great opportunity to really go face-to-face and provide value for people. And I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to do it with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
So before we get into it, I always share or always talk about, I always say, who are you and what do you do?
All right. Well, the quick answer would be I put money in people's pockets when they need it most. But what does that mean, right? So I actually use various insurance products as strategies that can help provide people some assurance with insurance on making sure that they're not left, financially, financially,
like strapped.
Yeah, strapped. I mean, here I am nervous because I'm on this podcast and I apologize, but financially exposed, when they're hurt or when they're sick. Basically, these plans would protect them, provide them with some cash benefits if they get hurt, if they get sick, offer various strategies such as life insurance, certainly, which is very important, disability insurance, and then things like dental insurance and those kind of everyday needs.
These are things that people need. Some people don't even compare apples to apples out there. They just kind of take whatever is given to them. But you are one that is able to find the best coverage for a fair premium. And that's a fantastic thing to think about for those who are watching. He'll shop everywhere and find you the best coverage for a fair premium. You don't have to sit there and try to type things away. People, I would say this, you're not going to do your own heart surgery, right? So why would you try to shop for something you have no idea what you should be buying? I think it's important to have a professional in your corner. So having Seraphim in that corner is very advantageous for those individuals. You mentioned you're nervous, and I appreciate you being transparent. A lot of people have a fear of public speaking and being in front of the camera, what have you. And we're going to try to break that barrier down. We are not scripted. We are not going to make anyone look bad. We want to make you look great, because if you're looking great, everyone's looking great. And you're nervous and you get over this, you're going to start doing video even more. You're going to start doing podcasts, I'm sure. That's usually what happens. So I appreciate you sharing that. What is the most fearful thing for you, like for today? I know that could be a big thing I would love for people to hear.
Well, it's funny because I think that for me right now, the kind of technology issue is for me fearful, because I don't have the headphones, I don't have a microphone. I'm sitting in my dining room, and I have so if you want to know who I am, I'm a dog lover. So I have a beautiful chocolate lab who's inside with me. And right when we were about to start, she started barking and she started slurping her water. So my mind was like keeping the dog quiet. And so my being nervous was making sure that the dog is quiet and that you and I can speak and get this message across to people who need to hear it. So I think it's more, a technical issue. I am not fearful to share my thoughts. I'm not fearful to share what I do because I'm proud of what I do, and my thoughts are focused on what I do. So I'm all about that. It's more of just kind of making sure that the dog is quiet, doesn't interrupt this podcast. But for those who are dog lovers out there, they might enjoy a bark from time to time. So bring it on.
And I appreciate you sharing that, because a lot of people, I have my daughter, my kids come in sometimes, and you have no control over what's happening. But it also shows that we're human. So things are not always going to go perfect, but we know it's not going to be perfect. So not to worry about that, because we can't find perfection. And to always focus on perfection, nobody will start anything. Nobody will try anything. So I love it when a dog barks or if a kid comes in, people know it's real. Like, we're human beings. We're not just an order taker. We're looking to build relationships. And talking about that, how have you been building relationships for your business?
Well, I've been doing this. So I'm technically a broker, and yes, I'm an insurance broker, but I focus on voluntary benefits. So what I do is I offer businesses options in providing benefits to their employees. Very often it's on an employee funded basis through payroll deduction. So it's something where a company can't afford to, provide benefits on their own dime, so to speak, but they care enough about their employees that they want them to have access to such benefits. So I offer, whether it be life insurance, dental, disability, cancer care, different insurance plans through payroll deduction. So I work a lot with businesses. It's a rare day that I work with individuals one-on-one, although I can certainly do that as a life insurance broker as well. And I did kind of adjust during COVID to focus on individuals. But my passion is to really help business owners who care about their employees take care of them. And I know that every penny counts for everyone, certainly the employee, but also the employer. And so if we can match a plan that would be most helpful for the employees that they couldn't get elsewhere, they can get it only by working at that given company, but they pay for it themselves at an affordable rate, then it's a great match. So for me, building relationships is huge because I'm working first and foremost with the HR manager and or owner. Once we establish a relationship there where they trust me enough that I can work with their employees, because that's, most employers and certainly HR managers are like these little mother hens, right? That they care for their employees, and that's a great thing. And so they don't want to bring just anyone in to talk about, whatever it may be, but certainly issues as personal as insurance. Because if you're talking about cancer insurance, you're talking about personal medical history. You're talking about, disability insurance. We could be talking about someone planning to go on maternity leave. Life insurance is a whole nother issue where you talk about, family history. Well, my dad died when I was 12, or my mom died when I was 30. And, we were left financially, exposed, and it was a big problem. So there's a lot of natural, intimate, in the best sense of that word, intimate conversations that take place. And so for me, I have to earn the trust of an employer or an HR manager first, and only then, when that relationship is solidified, then I feel comfortable enough going in to help their employees. And I always try to be an extension of an HR department. I don't want the employee to go back to the employer and say, what did you bring this guy in for? What's the problem? If they have issues, if they have problems, if they have questions, I want them to come to me. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. And I do believe in this stuff. And I do it honestly as a result of my passion to help other people. I know, Shawn, you know a little bit about me personally. I'm very involved with Rotary clubs,
Yep.
do a lot of nonprofit work. I do a lot of volunteering, used to deliver Meals on Wheels. I had to stop because life got in the way, unfortunately, but that was very rewarding. So I do believe that we can choose a profession that best fits our personality. And I look at this, as hard as it might be to believe for many people. I use insurance, sales, insurance, strategies to help people. And if it works, then I'm doing the right thing. And so far it's been working. So I've been doing it for 10 years and have no regrets.
It's a great answer. And I agree. Working with small business owners, we really can now, it opens up doors to other people. If you work with an individual or a family, it's just those people. But if you have a company that has 100, 200, 500, whatever amount of people working there, that's those amount of opportunities that you can help and service. And you work one account that has, say, 250, 500. That's a lot of people you can really get in front of that you wouldn't be able to if you did it individually, 500 people. So it's definitely, and I know you're all about helping people, like you were saying early on. You can create something with that employer. So now it's a value add of why you should work with that company, because you're getting these great benefits that are custom tailored to that company, which is, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoy it very much. I also like to focus. I mean, I work with anyone, and someone asked me once, what kind of company do you work with? What industry do you like to deal with? And I gave this answer, and they laughed and thought it was a joke, but I was very sincere. And I said, I would work with any company as long as the owner or the administration cares about his or her employees. I don't care if it's a dental practice. I don't care if it's a trucking company. I do, because that's where I feel comfortable. I work a lot with nonprofits because I do find a lot of care there. But you find care in trucking companies. I have an auto parts supply company that I'm working with. Actually, I was there today helping a man with a claim. So I don't care about the industry. I care about the employer and his or her relationship with his or her employees. And if they care about them, then I'm a great fit.
I like that answer. And it definitely, if you're working with an employer that cares about their client, their personnel, that's who you want to work with, because they have their heart on their sleeve, which is important for, especially today. You want to center yourself around people that want to be successful and help other people become successful. So that's awesome to put yourself into that position. Now, how do you find time for all the going to the Rotary, volunteering, work, family? How do we help people out there? What is working for you to kind of help you balance, keep you on track with all the things we juggle?
So my personal discipline is that I don't compartmentalize my life. I am who I am 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I need to help somebody with a claim, I had someone contact me a few nights ago, unfortunately, around 8 p.m. Not unfortunately because of the time, but unfortunately because they were diagnosed with cancer, and I had to help them with a cancer claim. But that doesn't mean that I, can't do other things, right? I have the ability to set my own schedule. So if I need to work at 8 o'clock on a given night, I might be able to, sleep in a little later the next day, although sleeping in for me is 5:30 a.m. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. But the dog is one of the reasons for that, but that's a whole nother story. But no, I mean, I find time, and I do believe that, giving back to the community, whether it be through Rotary or delivering Meals on Wheels or whatever it may be, that makes me a better person. And if I'm a better person, then I can be a better insurance agent, or I can be a better service provider. I don't like to use the word vendor, but I could be a better provider of important solutions to those who need it. And you got to put your money where your mouth is. And I can say, oh yeah, I'm in this to help people, but then you see that I don't answer calls or I don't help with the claim, then it's a lie. And people see that. People are not naive. And I think that, I wouldn't, we always can be more successful. And I think it's a very prideful thing to say that, oh, my success is a result of, I always want to be better, tomorrow than I was today, and day after tomorrow better than tomorrow. So I'm, kind of hesitant to use the word success. But I think that the good that I've been able to accomplish has been a result of people seeing that I'm a genuine and sincere person. And you can only fake it for so long. So if people, you're faking it, they'll see after a while.
Now, being an entrepreneur, I like what you said, you're always in a growth mode. You want to improve yourself. You want to better yourself. So with personal development, how are you going about that? Are you reading more? Are you researching things? Talk about that, please.
Yeah, well, I try to eat healthy. Obviously, I think that's important. I think it's very important, as you well know. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, right? You're all about that. So eating healthy is important. Healthy body, healthy mind, and then healthy mind. I do try to read daily. I try to read various books, whether they be on sales. I actually just read a book. It's right over here. It's called The Neuroscience of Selling. I saw it somewhere, and it's quite a good book. I read a book recently by a guy named Patrick Bet-David, Choose Your Enemies Wisely. It was a fantastic book. I also, I'm a Christian, and so I do read scripture. I think that's important for personal development. It helps align me to my beliefs.
Yep.
And we get out of whack sometimes. So I try to read books on health, mental health, spiritual health, physical health, healthy eating. So the books that I do choose to read, and they are varied, they're all on ways to improve myself in one way or another. It's not just, I don't read like science fiction, or I don't read, things like that. I don't read fiction usually. It's all, either self-help, how to better, for betterment, things like that. And I try to read, it's a tough goal and I don't always accomplish it. So I'm sorry to put it out there and admit a failure right away, but I try to read a new book every 2 weeks. So 2 books a month is my goal. I don't always get there, but that's what I try to do. So that equates to about half an hour, 45 minutes a day of reading.
No, it's important to, it's a muscle, your mind's a muscle, and you are, as we get older, we need to make sure we are improving no matter what. High school, college is not the end of learning. You should always want to pick up something, a little trick here, a little tip there to improve that. And you talked about mental health. And with guys out there, they have some trouble with their mental health. They like to hold things in. They don't like to talk about it. I found that stress relief with physical, strength training, doing workouts, important to me. And I believe as far as reading and personal development and learning different skills, definitely helps me. So I definitely agree. Is there anything that we can share for the guys out there, the gentlemen, for mental health? Like things are not going right. They have some rejection happening. How do we help them out?
Well, it's interesting that you brought that up. So as I, mentioned, I do, I volunteer. I'm very active in Rotary, and each Rotary has a local club in a given town, but then they're under districts. And so we have a district that's in the Hudson Valley, New York. 7210 is the district number. But within that district, they have various committees and subcommittees, and I'm actually the chairperson for our mental health initiatives committee. So I'm focusing on mental health a lot, and we're trying to bring, mental health awareness to the local community on various levels and helping break the stigma. And men, women alike, I mean, there is a stigma, and it's health. And why should anyone be afraid to get healthy, even if it's mental health? I mean, no one's going to say, oh man, I don't want to tell anyone I'm trying to lose weight or whatever, or oh gosh, I'm eating healthy. Why are we ashamed to say, well, I'm caring for my mental health? There should be no fear. There should be no embarrassment. There should be no shame in caring for our mental health. Shame on the person who doesn't want to improve their mental health. And I don't care if you're the happiest person in the world, you can always be happier. So mental health is so important. And, again, going back to me not compartmentalizing my life, even in my professional career, I'm dealing with people who, might have a history of cancer in their family. And there's this fear behind their, every thought that, oh my God, what if I get cancer? My dad died when I was when he was 54 and I'm 52. And, so people get fearful. And if you have a conversation and you get to know them and again, that trust, we can be talking about an accident plan and we could find out that someone's fearful of, taking a bike ride because their best friend got mauled over by a tractor trailer riding a bike or whatever. I mean, so mental health is so entwined and connected with our daily life. And I think that if we can put in, I would say, various procedures or ways to focus on our mental health. And that procedure could be, today, I'm not going to worry. Today, I'm going to remind myself that I have a life insurance plan that if I do die, we're going to die. But if it happens today, I know that tomorrow my kids are going to be taken care of. And so what we do professionally has to be an extension of who we are personally. And so when I'm offering people these insurance solutions, a lot of times you do some, scratching and you get under the surface or deeper digging, and you see that there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of mental health concerns. And once you put these solutions in place, it does take away some of that fear, and it's a great thing. And I mean, people don't always make that connection, but it's there.
And a lot of people wait to the last minute to even have conversations about anything, which is something that, however old you are, start looking into stuff now. And what Seraphim was saying as far as worrying, I try to tell my wife too, I only worry about things that I can control. If you can't control it, why are you worrying about it? There's no way of you fixing an issue that you have no control over. So that's what I've kind of, my thought process, my mindset is, if I can control it, I'll worry about it. If I can't control it, it's out of my hands. Nothing to put any worry to. So I definitely agree. And we're here. Like I tell people all the time, if you have a problem, my phone is on for you, man. Like I'm here for everybody that I know, male, female, it doesn't matter. But it's something that you have to talk about it. Like when my one daughter had a liver transplant 5 years ago in May, coming up this May will be a 5-year anniversary. We call it liverversary. I talked about that stuff, but people were like, why would you talk about it? Like, because people go through things. We have to share. We have to educate. And we have to, was it a tough time? How did we get through it? We had to stay positive. We had a lot of support system. My wife and I were together. But that's important to share. Not always the great things that are happening in our lives. Talk about everything that's going wrong or you're dealing with, because other people will connect with you with that even deeper.
Yeah, I think, what you said is so key about sharing not only the good stuff. And I really believe that, a lot of the issues that people are dealing with in mental health now is a result of social media, because very few people share the bad times. Everyone wants to make it look like everything's, wonderful and perfect, and it's not. And so you look at Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, whatever. I mean, I don't go to those, but you just do that and you just see these fake lives. And then you look at it once, oh yeah, that's fake. Second time, oh yeah, that's fake. The third time, maybe it's not. And then people get brainwashed, unfortunately, of thinking that that's real life when it's not real life. The real life is liver transplants. The real life is cancer. The real life is death. But how we deal with it, that's also very real. And that makes our life, worth living. And so, for you sharing, that's beautiful. And bravo. I wish more people would have that, bravery. And hopefully after hearing you today, people will be more want to share, so to speak.
I love, hearing stories. People go through really bad things. Some people go through things that turn for the better. In our case, with Natalie, but it's something that you have to talk to your close friends, talk to somebody. Don't hold that stuff in, because we don't want anyone having any issues going down the road. And besides work, now I know you love to work. What does Seraphim like to do outside of work?
Well, I like to walk my dog, who's sleeping now. So now I'm not as nervous, if you can tell, right? I'm a little bit at ease because she's sleeping under the table next to me. So that's a good thing. I like to walk the dog, like to bicycle, like to hike, outdoor activities. But other things I do like the arts, performing arts. So I like to go to the opera. I do like to go to the symphony. I like plays. I love Gilbert and Sullivan operettas. So I do like to, enjoy the arts when get down there to New York City, basically is where I would go. I live up in Orange County, New York now. So it's a little bit of a trek, but it's worth it to go at least once a quarter, if not more, to kind of also, relax, deal with mental health. And I think that, a cultured or a cultural event in fine arts is important for us to see the beauty in life. You hear, the talent of someone with a beautiful singing voice or a beautiful dance at a ballet. And you can see, wow, the human body is capable of so many wonderful things, kind of puts perspective into our life and helps us rise above the day-to-day difficulties of, shoveling this snowy driveway to get the car out, to get down to New York City to see a ballet.
No, I've shared this a few times. And it comes up when people talk about the arts. And my wife is obsessed with Hamilton. And we've seen Hamilton the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, 4 times. Or she's seen it 4 times, I've seen it 3. It's an incredible thing. But the beautiful thing is to stay afterwards and you have, I forget what it's called, like whatever the side door is, you wait for them to come out, and they come out. They're like human beings. Like they're like stars. They put on, you're watching them for 3 hours, and then it's great. And it's amazing to me. They just walk right out from the people, right into the abyss in New York City and go on their life. You know, some of them have nice cars that they get picked up in, but most of them just walk and just right into the city. So you have no idea who you're next to. They could be playing for a big, symphony, orchestra. It could be on a play. You don't know, but it's amazing what's in that city. It's all culture.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful. It shows what the human person is capable of, and a lot of beauty. Unfortunately, when you walk out the doors and go into New York City, you can see a lot of not so beautiful things as well, but that's part of life.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I want to end on, we're on social media. We're doing a video. How important is social media to you for your business? Is it something you use daily? Is it something that you've been learning more, incorporating more in the last number of years?
Yeah, I have a website, seraphimwood.com, that you can see right here. That gets a lot of hits every month. I'm actually pleasantly surprised, something like 3,000 hits, which I when I learned that, I was impressed and pleased. But I'm very active on LinkedIn. Out of all the social media platforms, LinkedIn is my go-to. But I did make a video at the beginning of the year stating that, you saw it, yeah, that we have to use this and be connected. I don't want 2,000 connections, and I know 3 of them. So I've made it a personal discipline to reach out and try to set up meetings, whether they be via Zoom, whether they be in person, preferably if they're in the area. I'll drive to where I need to meet with someone, but just to gain that connection and make it real, because and it's not a sales meeting. It's not about sales. It's about learning about people. I had a meeting today down in New Jersey with somebody. There's no way that we could do business together for various reasons, but that person might know somebody that I could help, or I might know somebody that person can help. And if I meet somebody of interest, and it turns out on a personal thing that I don't want to share, obviously, but very, very, very deep personal connection that this person has with me, and just family backgrounds and different things that I would have never known from just liking his posts on LinkedIn. We had a conversation. It was just to get to know each other better, and there's that trust. And then this person is a ripple effect. The next person, the next person, the next person, and you're going to help them. And even if the only help is to ask them how their day was, because you might be the only person that asked them that question, and you help them. So I want to, focus on LinkedIn. I used to do Facebook, but I don't really much anymore, because it just, again, people posting those kind of pictures, that's not real. But I like the way LinkedIn works, because it is professional, but it doesn't have to be. It's usually a positive message. I don't see as much politics on LinkedIn that I would see on Facebook. So I enjoy that professional atmosphere, environment. And so I'm focusing on that. And I try to put up something at least every day. Sometimes every other day, but I try to do daily posts with some kind of information, whether it be on mental health, whether it be an article on employee benefits, whether it be an article or something about Rotary. There was something that Liam Nielsen recently got an award from Rotary. I put that up there, and people, wrote to me and thank you for sharing. So whatever it may be, as long as it's going to be of benefit to people, positive messaging. But yeah, LinkedIn is my go-to.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people think they can just put a post out there, they can send messenger, or they can send a text message or an email, and they get hidden behind that. But if you just set up and use it to get to a phone call or a video call, and like Seraphim was saying, go deep, find out if there's any pain points in the person's life that you can help solve. So like Seraphim said, it might not even work out. You might not even, collaborate on business, but you're still friends. And if something comes up on a disability, a cancer policy, life insurance, dental, they're going to remember him because he took the time to learn about whatever's in their life and what's going on, if they're in what kind of business they're involved in. So it's very powerful to not just go into calls as a sales call, go into it as, I call them, a connection call. Go deep, find out what's going on, and use them to build your network. It's powerful.
Yeah, I remember when you and I first connected, on social media, and you set up that connection call. And I was very impressed with you and your message and your mode of professional behavior. I mean, it was great. You're spot on. And I sincerely thank you for that. That was several years ago, probably 6 or 7, maybe even. But I do remember it to this day because you reached out, and that's what it's all about. I mean, what's the purpose of social media if it's just to kind of broadcast lies? You got to have some kind of impact, hopefully positive impact in people's lives. And so 7 years ago, 6 years ago, you reached out to me, and I remember it to this day as a positive thing. I wouldn't be sitting with you today if it wasn't for that 7 years ago.
No, I appreciate that. And it definitely works. As you could tell, we're having a good conversation. People are giving and getting value. And I want to thank you for taking me up on this and being, in that guest spot. I hope you start. I challenge you to start a podcast or do some videos collaborating with other individuals if you, choose. And if anyone, I definitely challenge them to reach out to him. Go to the description. All his information's in there. Have a call. Talk to Seraphim. Learn about more than what we have in this conversation. And I want to thank you for being on today. Any final thoughts?
It really has been a pleasure speaking with you. And hopefully the humble message that we share here today can benefit people watching. And so if we bring a smile to someone's face, even if it was my nervousness in the beginning of the call, at least we did something good for somebody. We brought a smile to their face. So thank you. Thank you, Shawn, so much.
You got it, man. Stick with me for a moment. Everyone else, we hope you have an awesome rest of your day.